we are going live on Facebook. So please go on and enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simona. So we are just 3 of the 13, the wild 13.
The wild
So
13.
to say.
Exactly.
Just a wild 3 of us. First of all, I'd like to tell you that I really enjoyed the film. I really enjoyed because unfortunately for a long time, we don't have in Romania Romanian films for teenager or for young people, not very young, but I mean for teenagers usually, and so on for people just happy to see another kind of story. So it was fascinating. And I wish to ask, it was in German, wasn't it? Because I can see from the way they were moving their lips that it was something strange. Also, they didn't have a mask as you have Jan now. But I could see even from the eyes that it was in another language. And I'd like to know why it was made directly in German, isn't it?
It was we tried to shoot it in English. The books are very popular in Germany, but also in some other European countries, especially Europe. But in the 60s, when it was published, the novel was published, it was also famous in the United States. So we hope for an American distributor to help us and give us money to make a big movie and shoot it in English. But
did they?
No, the book, we had to learn that the book is not as popular nowadays as it was in the 60s. And it's a very German story in the end. So we made a decision to, not only us, but the production company, and we made a decision, since this is a very German fairy tale, we should shoot it in German. And but it's not all the actors are German, in fact.
It's
For
exactly
example,
what I'd like to ask. Yeah.
Solomon, who plays Jim, he's from London.
Mm-hmm.
And he speaks, his native language is English, and we had to dub in German.
Vice versa. So.
Yes.
And I can add that the dragons speak all kinds of languages. So does Nepomuk as digital characters.
Yeah, it was very funny. I really enjoyed it. Yes, because it was totally different of what we see nowadays when you have special dragons and special beasts, or I don't know, or the Loch Ness monsters and so on. It was something very sweet on the other hand, and just frightening from time to time, but otherwise very, I think the children would like to have something like that at home from time to time as a pet.
Yeah, it turns out that I think especially starting from the first Jim Knopf movie, that especially Nepomuk was a very likable character. So the production design for that was already very sweet. And it turned out that as a digital character, he seemed to be one of the, at least very popular ones from the whole movie cast.
Mm-hmm. I see. And yes, I must underline that Darius was saying that also the books were translated into Romanian, and that the children were quite happy to see the film. So we are going to screening on Sunday night, the best moment of the week. And so they are impatient to see their moving pictures, because they knew the book and so on, and probably some pictures in there. So it would be interesting and I'll let you know what their point of view was, and if they had any questions after seeing literally the film, and I'm going to see it again with them on Saturday night to see their reaction, because I'm really very curious, because it's very.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will it be dubbed or will it be with subtitles?
It will be with subtitles. In Romania, we are subtitling. I've told you I was just a necessary evil during the communist time, but I hate. Even on that time, I wasn't dubbing them. I was just voice overing it.
Voice overing, yes.
A little bit the voice of the real actors and so on. So yeah, no, we are subtitling them. And anyhow, in Romania, English is quite known, so sometimes it's not even necessary, but it's compulsory from the legal point of view to subtitle them. But otherwise, almost, especially very young people, are all quite good in English, thanks to movies, by the way. Yes. Okay, so we have a mixed cast for this film, but I was curious to know a little bit. So, as long as you are a scriptwriter, you change a lot from the book. From the book,
I didn't. This question was hard to understand.
If you change a lot
book, yeah.
from the book, what
book,
was new or different from the book?
Here is the book. We got the book right here. Yes, this is the second one. Right here we have the first one. Is this? And those two books were actually one when Michael wrote them. But as you can see, they're pretty. It's a thick book. So his publisher said, please separate it in two. And Michael Ende had to change a lot. And yes, I had to change a couple of things because of money, of course. Production-wise, it's a very expensive movie, and the special effects are extremely expensive. So there are a lot of characters, a lot more characters in the novel which we couldn't visualize, even if you would have liked to. But it would maybe be a 3-hour movie. So we decided to shorten it a little and to change some of it and to modernize it in a way, but very subtle, not big time. For example, with The Wild 13, we changed the character of Lizzie quite a bit because in the original, she's a cliche of a girl in the 60s. She's very slightly scared and not an adventurous type of person. She's crying all the time.
Oh.
She's scared of the pirates, and Jim, as the tough guy, has to save her. And we made her a lot tougher and a lot more curious and more stubborn in a way. A lot more like modern girl. You can't. These characters, you can't have the same characters like in the 60s.
I see. What about the engine? Then I'm curious to know a little bit about the special effects for the engine, because it was such a nice idea to have a ship and an engine at the same time. I think it's everybody's dream.
The engine is a character in the novel also. I mean, in fact, it's 3 of them.
There's a name, by the way.
It's Jim, it's Luke, and it's Emma, the engine. And she can't talk, not in the book, neither in the book nor in the film. But we try to give her a character by using her lights and using the sounds she makes.
I could swear she can talk.
Yeah. She's like C-3PO in Star Wars.
Because I could swear she can talk. Yes.
That's what we wanted. We wanted to make her like an old lady. She can talk in a simple but effective way, so you feel that she's a living, breathing being,
like a granny,
engine,
like a grandmother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or like a friend, like a very old friend for Luke.
Yeah.
Like feels like a wife.
Somebody else's grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you have but you shown it on the big screen or on TV?
The
film
in Germany was on the big screen.
On the big screen.
Yeah, yes.
Not yet on TV.
The first one was on TV. The second one not yet, but on streaming. But
Streaming, yes.
You have to pay for it. It's not free right now, but. And the first one was quite successful. When the second one came out, it was COVID was spreading all over Europe, and we had 3 weeks in cinemas, and then lockdown. Every cinema closed, and no,
Like everywhere,
Like everywhere.
Yes, but I think it's an excellent film to be seen while in while in lockdown, because you can travel with this film.
Yes, yes.
That's what I enjoy so much, and especially for the special effects, you feel like traveling together with them. And also the sea, it's so different from all sea I've ever seen. And I've seen 30,000 of films all over my life. So it was really, really different. And the colors and also the clouds are so different in this film. I really, really enjoyed. And I was curious to know if you have also toys coming from these characters.
The last sentence wasn't understandable. I'm
If
sorry.
you
I
have
think the question of toys. Mhm.
Do you have?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the marketing did toys from that movie. I know that from Nepomuk, there is a famous film park in Germany, in Berlin, in Babelsberg, where you can, basically go as a tourist and look like how movies are made. And I know that they printed out like a life-size version of Nepomuk, and you can do photos with Nepomuk basically on site. But I'm not sure if they ever marketed the characters really for the movie.
And not the engine, the locomotive. Oh, look, the locomotive.
It's a toy.
Aha!
And you
Oh,
can
but
buy
I think,
miniature Emmas.
Yeah, I think
Emma, but she's not smiling.
Yeah, I think there was a marketing thing with a big burger company where they produced some of the characters, I think, as little toys. Is it right? Yeah. Yeah, that's from there. Okay, but not as toys for sale, I guess. Yeah.
So we have one question there. What was the biggest challenge while making the special effects?
Well, I have to say that I was one of the visual effects supervisors taking part of the movie. So the main visual effects supervisor was Frank Schlegel. He was basically overlooking all the companies working for that movie. I was working on behalf of a company called Trickster. We were taking care of all the digital characters, actually, in fact. So in Jim Knopf and the Wild 13, it was, of course, Nepomuk, the little half-dragon, and it was the Golden Dragon of Wisdom. So that were basically the main tasks that we were taking care. And as Dirk already mentioned, the movies are just such a fantasy topic that there was so many tasks to do. So what the company, the movie company did, they basically split up all the visual effects and special effects into different parts, and gave every company some kind of special task to care about. So there was one company taking care about all of the ocean, like when the engine was swimming. There was another company taking care of the sequence later at the island. Then we as a company
made a puzzle of all the effects.
Exactly. So all the work, I think, I'm not sure, it was about 600 to 800 visual effect shots in this movie, maybe more. And so to get hold of the big amount of shots, all the single sequences was basically spread over, I think it was 4 different visual effects companies taking care.
4?
And I think, yeah. And I think every company had some bigger and smaller challenges themselves. For us, taking care of the characters, it was definitely the creation of the Golden Dragon of Wisdom, because nobody knew how it really looked like. Of course, there were some really simple paintings. I think they came from Michael Ende himself in the books. But of course, all of the designs for the characters, for example, needed to be completely revised and taken, as Dirk said, for the script, taken into a new form. So yeah, you see in the book, it was like, black and white painting, and we had to transfer the look of that golden dragon into something, a living being. And our challenge was to create something which is golden but still looks like a living creature, which was really challenging, because usually something which is golden, you think of something like a statue or some kind of something which is static and rigid, but definitely not as a living being. And this was basically quite a challenge for us to create this dragon, for example.
And they did an amazing job. They did an amazing job.
Yeah, and everything was so colorful. That's what I enjoyed so much. It looks very much all the time like it was like a really real painting of your dreams. That's what I saw. It was like a painting
I think
of your dreams.
this is definitely a big effort, especially of our production designer Matthias Müsse, who did a really fantastic job to build this world. Because everything, as you know, when you start to create a movie, especially with a topic, a fantastic topic like this, you want to build the world, and what you're starting with is like a concept, like concept art. So you are creating like first paintings, which are real colorful paintings, to have a first impression how this world would look like in the end. And I think Matthias did a fantastic job to create this world, and also to find like a color concept which is really fitting, and not looking not only colorful, but if you look very carefully and closely, you see that every part of Lummerland and on all the different parts of the world we're telling has its own color Bible. That's all you call it. It's so like some of, like when you go into the desert, you see it's more like yellow tones. When you go to Mandala, the looking country, it's very colorful. But every part of this movie has a color code of itself, so it's very thoughtful, very well planned.
Very rainbow kind and so on. What about the mermaid? The mermaid, which was so silvery, she was very nice also.
Susula Picci.
Yeah, the mermaid. Susula Picci, exactly. She was, of course, a combination for the close-up shots where we see her close. It was actually an actress in a suit, in a costume. Some shots where there was a digital character. And
so you were.
We can't hear you very well.
I can hear you for a moment. We couldn't hear you, but I can translate.
Okay.
Some of the shots she was an actress in a costume, but for some shots they had to replace the fin. So it looks real. So it looks like a real mermaid fin.
Exactly.
She looks like a real mermaid, to tell you the truth.
That's what she looks like in the book.
Much better in the film. I think she's more beautiful. In here, she's funnier.
She has different hair in the book.
Yeah, that's
book, she has my hair.
Exactly.
And how long did it take to make the film? I mean, in all.
Yeah,
well, I think maybe Dirk, you can tell from pre-production, because I think you started writing the script a long time ago, I guess.
For the first part, yes, but that's a different story. For the first part, we worked 15 years until we got it made. But it's not, it's on and off. It's not.
I got it. Yeah.
7 days a week on this project, but it took 15 years from the first draft to the produced film. The second one was a lot faster. For me, it was like 1.5 years writing, and then pre-production started, and you have to everything, because everything you see has to be designed and made from scratch, and that took like a year maybe. And then shooting was for 2 or 3 months, I guess. And after that, Jan took over, and Jan and his and the guys, and they worked for another year.
1 year just for special effects. Yeah.
I think it was 3, yeah.
Post-production, yes, and it's extremely a high workload. It's such a lot of work, and for Germany, this is outstanding. We're not used to have these big-scale projects. Like, we're not Marvel. They do that every time.
But it looks even better than Marvel, to tell you the truth.
Thank you.
Because Marvel they are very, let's say, they are very
Artificial?
spectacular, but they are all the time the same thing. And that was more original. And it has a little bit out of the Wizard of Oz. For
Yeah.
the whole film, I was thinking about the Wizard of Oz. And I said, okay, this is the Wizard of Oz of the 21st century. And I really enjoy it. That's why I like it so much, because it has a little bit of everything. It has also friendship. You have also something sweet. You have also everything you have in there. The sea, the sun, the mountains, everything, and of course the creatures, all kind of special creatures. And I have here the film looks very Hollywood, like a big budget is written there. Who had, I don't know, they stopped the question and I couldn't read it up to the end. Who had the idea or what you asked?
It was a
Let me
big
see if I
budget
can find
for Germans. It was a very high budget.
Yeah.
And you know, Irina, I'm totally with you. These guys did an amazing job, but we all grew up with the books, and it was also the magic of the books we tried to bring on the big screen. Every one of us, me and Jan and Dennis, the director, and Christian, the producer, and all the people behind us, we all, you know, grew up with these books. And for us, this is like our personal Wizard of Oz. So
yes, but this is the greatest challenge usually when there is
Absolutely.
a book that we all read. We also have some Romanian books in this, I mean, for teenagers and so on, and nobody had the courage to touch them because we have so much in our head.
Yeah.
It's impossible to make them appear without getting hundreds and hundreds of critics against it and so on.
yes.
So I found that
And fans and
had the last word regarding the way the film will look. That's what of the question. Who had the last word regarding the way the film will look?
The director.
It was a common or the producer or what?
The director Dennis. He was the director, of course. Yes, he was at the helm, and he coordinated all the people behind the camera, and he chose the people for the designs, for the music, for the special effects, and of course he can only do as much as the people behind him produce. You know, but he was the coordinator.
What about the pirates? It was an inspiration from Johnny Depp's Pirate?
Well,
when you construct them, I know you have them in the book, that's for sure. And pirates are everywhere, even in Romania.
Let me see if I can find the pirates. Yeah, of course, Pirates of the Caribbean is always an inspiration, but they were also inspired by other pirate movies. So this is of the Wild 13.
Film, yes. Yeah, but would you try to do also a cartoon out of that, or anybody try to make a cartoon?
In fact, there is a TV series that's cartoony. So we have a puppet movie with, you know, puppets from the 60s. We have cartoons. Now the live action movie.
And I also very much like the idea of using these pirates, like in Errol Flynn's movies. You know, when they are going down like that on the ship and so on, and a red sheep also, which is something you are a little bit afraid of. Maybe in there are the children and so on. So it's, I think it was very interesting because it looks like another German story, you know, the one with the rats and the children and so on. The Hamlet. You know what it is said? That all the children in Hamlin, in fact, are in Transylvania now, and they are called Saxons. I've heard it last week. While watching your film, it was funny because I was I'll tell them to know where the children went in the end. But the idea of doing that, I think it was the way of taking out your hat in front of what Errol Flynn at the very beginning, or Douglas Fairbanks in his first films did in there. So I could recognize that, and I really enjoyed, even if it wasn't your secret idea. I enjoyed it. It was there. So.
Yeah, there's all these. We all grew up with these movies and
yeah,
these books and these movies, and this all influenced us. And maybe this, for us, it was a dream come true to, you know, put all these elements which we loved when we were kids, and put it in one movie and steer it and make a big.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's like a cocktail.
It's like a cocktail.
It's a very good cocktail, to tell you the truth. Yeah. We have one more question here. Are other books that you wish to make a movie after?
Well,
are you preparing anything new?
Lord of the Rings might be an idea. No.
Oh, okay. A German version of Lord of the Rings. Okay.
No.
It's the same period. You know, Lord of the Rings was written in the 50s. This one is in the 60s, so it works. Yeah.
Yeah. Other adaptations, well, yeah, of course. But which one?
I don't know. It's up to you. Maybe it's another story that we don't know. I don't know. It was, and in the book, the king was as funny, as ridiculous as it is in the book. Was it as ridiculous? This one?
No, not really ridiculous, but we try to be funny, of course, you know, because
funny,
you know, you have the movie is a little more dark than the books are, you know, to be more attractive to older children, and we try to
different ages, I think. Yeah.
We try to put in some comic relief to, you know, that it's overall not a dark experience, but a entertaining movie. So humor was a big issue for us. We try to be funny, but there's also humor in the book, so it's not, you know, it's not our idea. We just enhanced it a bit.
I really enjoyed the idea of having a lighthouse also.
The light?
The lighthouse.
The lighthouse.
They are trying to have. I have my notes here. You see, I put down notes while seeing the film. That's why. And I was curious to know, but now I've seen on the book if the boy was really a colored one from the beginning. He was colored.
In the book, yes.
Yes, in the book. Yeah. Because I thought maybe it's something, you know, new, politically correct, because you have everything. The daughter of the king was Asian, the boy was colored, and so on. So you have everything that it's needed now.
No, it's always been that way. And Michael Ende, the writer, he was those things like were very important to him. There's no difference between the color of your skin or your religion. We're all equal. Yeah. He wrote it when he was 27 years old, but he was a wise guy when he
he was foreseeing what he was doing.
Yes. And when you read these books,
all over the world, to be read by everybody, you have to include everything in there. I think it's okay. But you know, I was asking that because in Romania, we talk a lot recently about German films, this time about Winnetou, that it was said that it was forbidden or something. Can you tell me something about that?
I'm sorry,
you remember?
The question. Winnetou?
Yes.
It wasn't forbidden. You know, you mean the new movie that's out in the cinemas right now?
Yeah.
No, there was a discussion that the Indian boy wasn't played by a Native American.
That was it.
And
even the one in the 60s wasn't also.
No. And you have theaters and plays here in Germany all over where.
Like Tom Sawyer and Finn, no?
Yeah.
The same thing, yes.
That's a difficult issue. Can you as an actor, as a white actor, can you play an Indian actor? Can you play an Indian character or a black character?
But you know, it was almost the same thing in Casablanca. If you remember, the guy playing the piano, you know, he is black, but in fact, he started as an actor, keeping some flour on his face, being a white guy. So it can be vice versa also. It's not, you don't have to sing direction. Yes, Wooly. That's what it was called like that because it was a surname from a character where he was playing a white guy, by the way. Okay, I have one more question. Oriane, what's your favorite part of the movie when we talk about making special visual effects?
Well, I have to say, of course, my specialty for visual effects always has been characters, because I like to also to tell stories. So I kind of specialized over my career a little bit in animating characters. I have been directing an animated movie already myself. And so, of course, for me, it's always a big challenge to bring a digital character to life. So something which is not acting and out of itself, but to create a character with basically a lot of people, which is quite challenging because you want to feel that the character is consistent, has a life of its own. And the most challenging part is always to create a character that acts emotionally. So you want to cry when the character is sad. You want to laugh when the character is funny. And I think this is always the biggest challenge, like from my point of view, to touch the audience emotionally in that way. And so for me, that's always a big part of my work, that I try to exactly breathe life into characters. And because you can create a nice looking character, that's not the biggest challenge, but the acting, the animation, the way how appealing a character is, if he's sympathetic or he's not sympathetic. There's so many little things you can adjust, and so many things you can do wrong, that with every movie project I'm doing, it's always again a big task to do, but it's always very rewarding when you see that the plan works out.
It was quite fascinating also, the crystal of eternity. I really enjoyed it. And the idea, a certain idea that we could meet with the others on, even if they are already gone on the other world. I really enjoyed that, especially now after this pandemic. I think each and every of us would like to see the ones that are lost during the pandemic, I think. Yeah, please talk about your animation film. You have an animation film, darling? Yeah.
Well, maybe that's not the topic here to talk about this animation film. It's from 2000 and I think 18 already, when I was directing a movie which was more for smaller children as a director, but I would prefer not to talk about it in this, because this is all about Jim Knopf and the Wild 13. As far as I love to talk about my work, but it was, let's put it this way, the animation movie was far less complex than the Wild 13, because what was great, and maybe that relates to the question that you have, who has the last word on the quality of the movie. I have to bring out a big compliment also to the producers of the movie, to Redback Film, and their challenge is always to bring the most effort and money into the project, to create this vision of the creative people, which is very rare to find these days in movie business, because what every department usually is dealing with is to find a way to make it cheaper, to make it quicker. And my experience, especially on these movies with Jim Knopf and with Redback, was that they always had a very big understanding that to create these characters, to create these visual effects, is a lot of work and a lot of people working. And as we know, the more people working, the more money it costs, because everybody needs to pay his and her rent. And I found it very rewarding to work for this project, because there was never a discussion about quality, because the quality was never compromised by not willing to spend let's say efforts and money to create the best possible character, which I found very exciting to work, because a lot of other projects I'm doing, I'm always faced with like we need to cut this, we need to cut that, And as we know, we are challenging not only the German market but the international market, because people are used to see good things on Netflix, on Amazon, and this is the content that they're comparing our work with every time. So in that sense, I think also in that sense, this Jim Knopf movies are sticking out of the mass a little bit, because I think the quality overall is very high on all levels.
But how is it happening? So Dirk, the script writer, is suggesting what you'll have to have as special effects, or you could from the very beginning saying this one I will do it in a special effect, not in a normal character.
Well, it usually works like that. As you know, our script writers, they come up with the scene of the visual effects in the first place, but we get this part of the script, for example, on our desks, and then the film company is asking like how can we do this visually, and we are creating some kind of like a first breakdown and saying, for this dialogue with Nepomuk, we need maybe 5 shots to tell the scene, and we are suggesting a very rough we call like a very rough planning of the scene, and usually what's happening in parallel to that is that somebody is starting to create a storyboard, especially for the parts affecting visual effects, to support the planning of the scenes. So when the director is planning the movie and has digital characters, for example, you can't film them, right? So you have just an empty plate in front of your camera. So you want to know in advance how the scene could look like. And so storyboards are made. And with the help of the storyboards, we can plan even better the amount of work which is supposed to happen for each and every shot. That's the usual case. And we are starting to plan ahead the movie sometimes a year, sometimes half a year before the movie is being shot. And then we are usually attending the shooting itself to make sure that everything is going to be filmed so that we can put in the characters and the visual effects later. And then, as Dirk said, we are working up to 1 year after the movie to finish those.
Dirk, what about the music? The music was chosen by
the director, the composer.
The composer and the big,
There's one.
The composer, but that's a suggestion.
There's one famous musical theme, that was in the puppet show in the 60s, when I wasn't even born yet. It was and this famous theme was part of the soundtrack of the new movies, which was an idea of Christian, our producer, which I think was a genius idea, because it gives you this overall warm feeling of nostalgia, because we know the old series and our parents know the old series, and they all recognize it when they sit in the movie theater and they hear these sounds. They're immediately back in their own childhood.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
But the soundtrack overall is a combination of this old music and of course the big orchestral new compositing. Yeah. I
think it should be quite expensive, such a film, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it was for German, was one of the most expensive German movies ever. Especially if you look at the fact that it's shot in German also, it's partly shot in German, but it's a German movie. You have more expensive German movies which are shot in English, but this one, I think it's actually the most expensive German movie. Yeah,
but it's so nice. It is worth it.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
It's dreamlike.
Nice.
It's so nice. Also, I remember also the colored eyes, the block of eyes colored so on. it's so extraordinary. It looks like a, like in Norway, where you are going to see the very special sky and the aurora there and so on. So I think it was.
Yeah, that's
really,
one benefits of digital production. Well, you can choose the sky any way you want to.
Yes, but you can
That's
choose
true.
it wrong. You see,
Yeah, it's all.
you have the possibility to choose it, but
Yeah.
sometimes you can choose it wrong, even if you.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you have to have the talent.
Absolutely, yeah. We had great people. in
Young
every
there
country, so
to know
that helps a
exactly
lot.
what to choose. You see, even if it is just sometimes it's better than nature, to tell you the truth, better than we can find in. And I also enjoyed this magnetic rock in there. It was
Magnetic rock, yeah, yeah.
especially that everybody now, thanks to the magnets on your fridge and so on, everybody's fascinated by magnets. Something like that in a huge presence, I think it's extremely important. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I also like all this part with sand and with Fata Morgana. We call it also in Romanian Fata Morgana. It's funny because we call it similarly.
Mhm.
I know that in English it's just an optical illusion and so on.
Mirage, yeah.
Yeah, but this one I also it was really a fairy tale. Yes. And,
It is, yeah.
yeah.
And
The
magnetic
fairy
rock
was
is a good.
the mermaid. Yeah, I
magnet-
think it's yeah.
The magnetic rock is
And
a good example for Michael Ende's imagination, because of course you can't fly an engine by using a big magnet.
yes, why not? Why not? We are trying.
Absolutely, why not? Yes.
All kind of solution.
I never tried.
To pay your rent. I think recently it's most important to pay your gas or to pay your electricity even more than your rent. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, the volcano. It was so nice. Also, you had so many things put together, and they are working. That's the idea. That's why I said that it looked like a puzzle. That ended so well. It's a
Thank you so much. Yeah, but it's also credit to the books. The books are very well written.
yeah, it's true. But as I was saying, the better they are, the most complicated
Yeah,
it
that's
is
true,
to
yeah.
make them into a film to be recognized and loved by a very choosy audience.
Yeah.
Because they have where from to okay, let's see this one, that one,
Yeah.
with superheroes or whatever. And this is something that is more human, it's a very, yeah, I like it very much. I enjoy it very much. And I'm quite sure that on Saturday, they will enjoy it. The perfect film for Saturday night.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, great.
Yeah. To think what you have to think for a whole week at least afterwards, and probably for some of us it will mean to discover the books and to see that it's totally different of what we usually we know about the German books and German movies and so on, as I was just mentioning the one with the rats and so on, because this is so tender. It's a very tender.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I can recommend the books of Michael Ende, because there's so much beneath the surface. There's so much going on.
They
in
have
the story.
several layers. I'd say
Yeah,
they have
layers and
several
layers. And if you go deeper, there's so
the
much to recognize, so many wisdom in it.
Is it study in school?
The books, the
Yeah.
book of Michael Ende, not me, but you can study them. Yes, some schools do, but I didn't. I didn't have the luck. I studied what German studied, Goethe and Schiller, and
I mean,
guys.
it's not in the official list of
Yes.
books that you are studying in school. That's why. Ian, how did you start your profession of special effects? It's a special school for special effects?
Well, I started studying basically visual effects. So that was the beginning of my career. I was fascinated by Jurassic Park movies, I have to say, and this was the start of my basically passion for movies. I wanted to do dinosaurs actually, because as like a small boy's dream, as you can imagine, creating dinosaurs is like a big dream. And that was I was in the times when home computers started to emerge. So I had my first Commodore 64 computer, and this was the beginning of my passion for computers, for computer graphics. And then I was one of the first students in a film school in Germany that offered computer animation as a course, and that was a big lucky thing for me to start with movie business, basically.
And for you, Dirk, how did it all start?
Well, I wanted to be a director, of course, but film schools wouldn't take me, so I started writing. So, and I stuck to it. Got stuck to it. Got stuck to writing.
It's so nice to have good writers. You can't imagine how important they are. Yes, of course, they are not the first one we are mentioning, which is a pity. But without them, film wouldn't exist, believe me. And when the film directors are trying to doing everything by themselves, usually it doesn't work. Rarely it works like that.
Yeah, sometimes you need. It's good to
be there. And by the way, Jan, because you said about the dinosaurs, you have to know that in Romania, at Râșnov, so in the mountains of Romania, in Transylvania, we have an amusing park with dinosaurs. So maybe you'll come one day to visit it, and you'll take Dirk also. And I think you'll enjoy them if they are.
That sounds very attractive to me. I will get back to you about that.
Yeah. I think yes, it's called Dino Park. Dinosaur, and I think it's called Dino also from the Flintstones. You remember the famous cartoon. He started as a cartoon and then with film, with actors and so on. So I really hope to meet you one day, both of you, to meet you in Timișoara at this wonderful film festival. It's a fantasy coming true. And it's thanks to Darius and Simona. It started 3 years ago, and it really is something absolutely special for Romania, for the children, for the adults, for the children inside us, and for us, for our journey in imagination and among the stars and the planets. And thank you so much for the Wild 13. They are really, really nice. Even if they are not the main characters, I must admit, it was a trick. They weren't the main characters in there. But Wild 13, with just 13 eyes, by the way, because they are all of them just one-eyed. Not like me and Jan, we are 4 eyes, you know that. All people getting spectacles, as Simona is also. So, Simona, it's up to you.
Thank you very much, Dirk and Jan, for being here. Thank you very much, Irina. You help us with this panel and with everything. We want to ask you, maybe next year you will be here in Romania. Maybe you will visit the Dino Park. And until then, thank you very much for your movie. It will be here for our children. See you soon, and good luck with your projects.
See you soon.
Thank you very much. A pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much.
I'm flying to Timișoara tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
Bye. See you soon. Bye.